your amplifier. It's a big sucker for this bike. Comes with that. Comes with your owner's manual. Take it out of this hefty bag. Again, this is the bracket. Now this bracket will actually, like I said, it'll go in this way. This goes toward the bike. This goes out toward the front. The amp's actually going to mount upside down. Not usually a good thing to mount an amp upside down, but hey, it is what it is. This thing does come with a lot of Velcro. I mean, this would be great to be able to put it, you know, on a flat surface and then stick it to this. That sucker ain't gonna go nowhere. But we're gonna screw it down. We're gonna do it the right way, but it is gonna take me drilling some holes in this here, and wow, this thing doesn't come with hardware. I mean, I gotta find my own hardware, really? Great. Alright, hopefully these will work. This is the hardware that came with the bracket. So hopefully these four little screws and little block nuts will work. And then these are what you put through and into there. Looks like it's just 1/4-20. You could replace these with hex bolts if you want, which I might do because it's easier to get a wrench in there. You gotta kind of position it right, and I'm just going to use the 2 outer screws. I have a couple different center punches. This one here actually would align it up in the middle. Then you have to use a hammer. This one is just a spring-loaded center punch. I want to get this as close to the middle. Now if you look, these are actually offset of the whole thing. Now I also have to make sure, I may put it as close to one side as I can get it, because I have to have room for my speaker leads, my power leads, and my RCAs. So I may offset this just slightly to have the room. Got my little divots. Now let's go see what size drill bit I need. 3/16. Looks like it fits in that hole there, so that's what we're gonna do. Alright, I have officially avoided the warranty. Go dump this outside. Wow, I didn't know my shop was that dusty. So like that, goes like that. How much room do I have? This is the point where I realized my rookie mistake. I failed to test fit the amp in the bike before I drilled the holes in the amp. Where we've left off, about a week ago. Bike's still here. We had an issue with the amp. And the issue was the size of the amp. It did not fit in the fairing. I'll show you what I mean. The bracket, which is not in it at the moment, goes right up under here, under the radio, and the amp sits here. The old amp physically will not fit between these two brackets that mount the top of the headlight. Now there is a bracket available called an XEL bracket, and I've watched a lot of YouTube videos on that, and it would work. I could mount that amp in there, but to mount that particular bracket, you have to take the factory bracket out and cut it, which is no big deal. I don't have a problem cutting the factory bracket because the new bracket actually adds support back into it. But what I don't like about it is you have to remove these two tabs and these two mounting tabs. The only way the headlight fits back in there and mounts are the two mounting tabs at the bottom. Anybody who knows Harleys know that they shake. So my fear, as well as the fear of the owner of the bike, is the light's gonna sit there and vibrate and shake, and you're gonna see that with the headlight on. He didn't want that, and I agree with him. I don't like that either. So we opted for another choice, and that choice is a new amplifier that actually fits. This is the old amplifier, and here's our new one. It's a Focal, very good amplifier. It's the FDP Sport version 2. It is a motorcycle or all-terrain vehicle 4-channel amp. I'll unbox it and let you see it. It's the right size. It fits, or we're gonna hope it fits, but it's a small amp, much smaller than the Wet Sounds amp. And that's what it looks like. There's all your connections, your settings. In the box here, it does have the plugs that come out for inputs for speakers and remote, and then power. It is a 4-channel, has all the settings of a normal amplifier. Like I said, the Focal is a fantastic brand. I've dealt with them and installed them many times in the past. Let's see if my theory works and it fits. The biggest thing is it has to fit between these two tabs, and look at right there, it fits. Now, the only question is, will this fit with the headlight in? All right. Tabs that these sit in the vents. Oh my goodness, look at that. That really looks like it's gonna fit just perfect without me having to modify the bracket. That's wonderful. See if I can get you a little closer. Right there. Looks like that might fit just fine. I got the light back where it needs to go. It's in its tabs. I've got the amp without the bracket in it, but the bracket's not gonna cause a whole big issue, I don't believe, but we're gonna see. Okay, I got the speaker pod off on this side. We're gonna see if I can get this screw in there. Of course, these are stainless, so they're non-ferrous, non-magnetic. Now, that little guy's in there. How are we in the back? Is that what that is? Yeah. Alright. That bracket may have to come out and get trimmed. Kind of what it's looking like, just because of the spacing. If it does, it does. No worries. I just charge you more. Alright, that's as far back as it goes with those feet. Now I may be able to push the feet out to the side here, but we're gonna see. The biggest question is the light. Will the light go on where it is? So let's try that again. This is where I wish I had an extra set of hands. Alright, not gonna fit. Alright, so I am gonna have to take the bracket out. And trim it. But it doesn't need to get trimmed a whole lot, but it does need to be done. Maybe. I have another idea. I'm full of ideas. Most of them are not good. Actually, what I could do, I could lose the feet. And that bracket and that bracket's about the same thickness. Drill holes in this, countersink them, and put them here. And then use those screws on the other side of this and mount it like so. That might be the option. Let me pull these feet off real quick. I created a paper template the same size as the amp, and I'm marking the location of the screw holes. There's your 4 holes. Easy peasy. What I'm going to do is line this pattern up. I'm going to take my pokey tool. May be hard to see, but right there, and right there are my center punch marks. So now I can drill these out. And since it's going to mount like this, and the screws go down this way, my countersink has to be on this side. If I got lucky, all my screw holes will line up. Let's see. There you go. Why aren't you lining up? Come on. The first hole, you can't be off. Of course, don't tighten them down until you get them all in. Look at there. First try. And if I were to notch that, I might be able to get it in there. So let me mark it where it is. What I need to do now is just go notch that a little bit with a file. You know what? I think that might be good enough. First of all, I need to find out, is this thing metal or... Yep, it's metal. So I'm going to need to paint it. I'll be right back. Okay, I hit all that bare metal with some paint. Now I just got to let it dry. It'll take a little bit because it's kind of chilly today. But we're going to mount the amplifier. I kind of set it up a little bit already, with this bike being the fact that it only came with 2 speakers from the factory. Focal says to use the 4-inch patch harness, which I am assuming is this, because this is the only thing that came in the kit that's roughly 4 inches long. Now this thing says swap front and rear. The instructions say set switch to 2N and use input channels 3 and 4. 3 and 4 are typically made for the rear speakers. Well, I think this is swapping that. So we're going to try it, see how it works. If not, then we'll do something different. But I'll use it for now. Anyway, let's go ahead and get this mounted up. Alright, one mounted amp. Alright, next thing would be go ahead and get this in place, but I'm not going to permanently mount it yet because I still may need to do some adjustments on the... I did some pre-adjustments. I put the slope on 6 dB so it has a smoother roll off and not such a sharp drop between frequencies. It's on high pass. I wish it had a full range, but it doesn't. So I just put it on high pass and then set the filter a little high. But we'll adjust that. And then right now the gain is set at 8 volt, which will be changed. I just don't know what it needs to be set to. I don't have my distortion meter so I can properly set it, but we're just gonna go by ear. So here are the RCAs for the inputs. In I'm going to leave some of this with slack so it could be pulled out and set on a bench somewhere, and then I'll coil it up, what I call a service loop. Go till it clicks. This is going to wind up folding over and going underneath the amp. And then we have the speakers, which is this one right here, and it's really cool. It actually has Harley plugs on it. Now this was not specifically for a Harley, even though it does work with a Harley, but it's got Harley plugs. Now it's possible that other manufacturers use these plugs too, so it may not be specific to Harley, but I thought it was kind of cool. Alright. gonna go in like that. That's gonna fold under my excess wiring here once the light goes back in, and then we'll hopefully these will reach the where the plugs go, RCAs, wire. The feet actually are countersunk on this side and not on this side, so you have to make sure that you use the countersink with these screws to be able to make it sit flush right here. Not exactly a flush fit, but oh, it's because I didn't follow my own directions. I didn't use the countersunk side like I told you to. Do as I say, not as I do. One of those type things. I went and got me my rat tail file, but right where I made that mark, all I'm going to try to do is feather that edge so I can get that screw in there. I like boring y'all, watching me file.